That early morning, the sky was still dark, but the sound of freedom echoed in Goshen. It was Egypt's last breath, and the first step of a people who would see the sea open before their eyes. With their loins girded, sandals on their feet, and stabs in their hands, the sons of Israel stood ready, waiting for the command to depart. Exodus 12:34-36 describes this sacred haste. So the people took their dough before it was leavened, with their kneading troughs bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. They did not leave as fugitives, but as freed ones, freed by a God who had risen with a mighty arm to bring them out of captivity. During the plagues, many had gathered in Goshen, and now, as an ordered multitude, they marched. And the children of Israel journeyed, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them. Exodus 12:37-38. It was a multitude of varied faces, hearts beating, some full of faith, others moved only by the opportunity to escape. A multitude that, though free, would still need to learn what it meant to trust.
It was not only men and women who marched in that exodus. They carried with them flocks and herds, visible signs of a silent blessing. That was not an escape, but a complete rescue. The Egyptians, shaken by the plagues, practically urged them to leave, giving them riches as spoils, just as God had promised Moses. Exodus 12:35-36 confirms, "And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment." The promise made to Abraham was being fulfilled before the eyes of an entire generation. "Thy seed shall be a stranger, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance." Genesis 15:13-14. God's appointed time had come. And with them they also carried the bones of Joseph, the seed of hope, the reminder that God always fulfills his promises. Exodus 13:19 says, "And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him." But the way to Canaan was not the shortest. God knew that the heart of the people was still fragile, still conditioned by fear. Lest peradventure the people repent when they see war and they return to Egypt. Exodus 13:17. So instead of going by the way of the Philistines, the Lord led them through the wilderness toward the Red Sea. They were not ready for battles. They were unarmed, exhausted, carrying children, sheep, and baggage. Then God himself took visible leadership of that march. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, and by night in a pillar of fire. Exodus 13:21-22. That pillar was more than a guide. It was presence, protection, shade by day, and light by night. As the psalmist says, "He spread a cloud for a covering, and fire to give light in the night." Psalm 105:39. A God who not only delivers, but walks alongside, step by step. The wilderness was vast and uncertain. The people marched, but their eyes were always fixed on that pillar. And then came the command no one expected, to camp by the sea. There, surrounded by mountains and with the Red Sea before them, doubt once again hovered in their hearts. It did not seem a strategic choice, and it wasn't. It was a trap, not for Israel, but for Pharaoh's pride. "And I will harden Pharaoh's heart that he shall follow after them." Exodus 14:4. In Egypt, the king's remorse did not last. "Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" Exodus 14:5. Pharaoh gathered his chariots, his warriors, his priests. It was a display of human power against divine decision. And while the army marched swiftly, Israel camped, vulnerable, helpless, but guided by God. The people saw the chariots in the distance, shining under the sun, and panic overtook them. "Why did you bring us out of Egypt?" they asked Moses. Faith wavered once again. Moses, with the calm of one who knows who is in control, replied, "Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you." Exodus 14:13-14. But the people murmured, divided themselves, and even questioned the pillar of cloud that once had been a symbol of security. And then God moved. The cloud rose, crossed the heavens, and descended between the Hebrews and the Egyptians. A wall of darkness for the enemies, a light for the freed ones. God was in control. "But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea." Exodus 14:16. Moses obeyed, and like a crack in the very waters of chaos, the sea opened. The impossible path became visible, surrounded by walls of water and illuminated by the pillar of fire. Israel walked on dry ground. It was a living miracle, a bridge between slavery and freedom. The Egyptians did not retreat, and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them, even to the midst of the sea. Exodus 14:23. But God saw them. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Exodus 14:24. Thunder echoed, lightning split the sky, and the sea that had been a path became a trap. Moses once again stretched out his hand, and the waters returned, hissing, roaring, swallowing the chariots, the horsemen, the soldiers. When morning came, all that remained of the pursuers were bodies on the sand. "For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever." Exodus 14:13. God had fought for them. God had triumphed. The joy was so deep that the people could not contain it. And there by the sea, Moses sang, a song of deliverance, a song of a war won by faith.
I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. It was the first national hymn of Israel, a celebration born from the deepest relief and reverence. The Lord was not only a deliverer, he was a shield, a commander, and a father. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. It was Faith singing victory, and Miriam, with timbrel in hand, led the women in dance. For the first time, an entire people praised in freedom. The sea still churned behind them, but now there was no more fear, only praise. That song would echo through generations, resonating in the prophets, in the Psalms, and even in Revelation, where the redeemed sing it before the throne of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb. It was not just victory over Egypt, but a foreshadowing of victory over all evil. Just like Israel, we are all on a journey. And sometimes God leads us to a dead end, mountains on the left, desert on the right, and an impassable sea ahead. But it is in that place that he shows his power. The command is still the same. Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. Faith begins when we take the step, even without seeing the ground. Hebrews 11:29 says, "By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land." And that is the kind of faith God expects from us. Not a theoretical faith, but a walking faith. A faith that steps into the impossible, believing in the invisible. That advances even as the feet touch the water. Because when we do everything within our reach, the God of the impossible opens the sea. No matter the size of the obstacle, if he is guiding, the way will be safe, even if it's through the middle of the sea. The crossing of the Red Sea was not just a historical event. It was an eternal lesson about the character of God and the calling of faith. When all seemed lost, God showed that He is the God of the impossible. And the Song of Moses is not just a memory, it is an invitation, a call to recognize the daily deliverance God performs in our lives. He still opens paths. He still confuses enemies. He still turns walls into bridges. And if He has already freed you from the slavery of sin, then there is reason to praise. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto Thy name give glory. May that be the song of our hearts. May we not forget either the great or the small blessings. May our lives be like the crossing of the sea, a living demonstration of faith, trust, and worship. Because the God of Moses is still our God. What an inspiring story, isn't it? The God who opened the Red Sea is the same God who is with you today. If you were blessed and encouraged by this message, please leave your like. It helps the video reach those who most need this word of faith. Thank you very much for your company, and may you march in victory today. See you next time.